We are live. Welcome to the Christmas Day live stream. Is this the last live stream of 2022? It is the last live stream of the year, and it's Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrates Christmas. I want to know, did you sail this week? I'm experimenting with this background, which is cool, so you guys don't have to see my boring office in the background, and we can switch it up with some pictures. But my hair gets kind of crazy, so I'm gonna try and find a hat, and then my hair doesn't look so wild. Hold on. I'm just gonna get a hat. Let me know if you sailed this week. If you did, how was it? What were the conditions like? I don't know how many people we're going to get today because it is Christmas and people are probably spending it with their families and doing things. If you do celebrate Christmas, do you celebrate more on the 24th or the 25th? In America, we celebrate on the 25th, but I know in Europe, it's more on the 24th. I'm just going to grab a hat because my hair is going crazy. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Merry Christmas. Let's see if that works better. All right, I don't know what we've got in the group. I've been pretty busy, so I haven't really had much time to go through. We've been doing a lot of family stuff with my wife's family in Germany and wrapping up all of our Germany stuff before heading back to Maui in early January, which I'm looking forward to. Hey, Mert, Axel, Merry Christmas. How did you guys celebrate? What did you do? What's your Christmas celebration look like, Axel and Mert? Hey, Jörg, Merry Christmas. So I want to hear what your celebrations were like. I'm going to load up the Facebook group and you guys tell me what your Christmas celebrations are like. Are you with family? Are you on a windsurfing trip? What are you guys doing? All right, I'm going to load up the Facebook group. Let's do it like that. Or no, that's not. Anyway, I think this is our normal. So it sounds like you guys have a lot of food. Eating. Couch potato with the family. Mert is sailing tomorrow. Mert, where are you sailing? What are the conditions like? What's it going to be? We had a dinner with my wife's family last night and a breakfast this morning. And then we just had a little dinner with the family, our little family, nuclear family at home. And yeah, that's it. Kind of relaxed. Yeah. So Juso says Merry Christmas. He's got a windsurfing board Christmas tree. Tavi, you guys, I keep wanting to hear about what you guys are up to, but I'm going to start going through the Facebook group. Tavi says that people are posting about getting more vertical. And so he's offering some advice. And so he drops down the wave in the direction that makes the most sense, but then he does a little turn going the opposite direction, which fits in with one of the themes that we talk about, which is doing the sort of wind up before you go into something. And let's see if we can see it here. And I would recommend trying this. This technique can work well for you, and it can also not, depending on the conditions. That was a nice hit. That second one was nice, Toby. But you can see he's really not doing it very radically, right? So he does just a tiny little turn upwind right there. You see it, and then he goes into his bottom turn. But it really depends on what the conditions are like and what your ability is as well. I think the better your ability, the more you can do a turn like this to get set up for your bottom turn. See there, Tavi does it again. So there's some fundamentals that you want to have down before you start doing this technique. But I recommend just giving it a go, seeing if it helps you. So it's like a little bit of a wind up, gets a little bit of power in your sail, and kind of help you go into the turn. Surfers do that sometimes as well. Suna, Merry Christmas and happy birthday. Missed your birthday. You're skiing in Austria. My wife's family is also skiing in Austria. We chose not to go because we're getting ready to go to Maui. But sounds fun. I hope you have fun. Mert says 15 knots tomorrow in the Netherlands. Axel had a wind skate session before his feast yesterday. Sounds good. Wind skating. So anyway, so this is a cool post from Tavi. Thank you, Tavi, for posting this. I think it's definitely a good skill to have. The only thing I would add is I think you have to have a certain fundamental level before doing this turn upwind, before you start your bottom turn, is useful. Tavi is a very advanced sailor, and it works well for him. And it can work well for you too. All right, we already saw this clip. This is from Rasmus. We talked about this last week. This is Rasmus and Silt. What else? Why is it showing up here? It's showing up here because we have some more comments. We already talked about this in the stream. Mungo is saying that the setup is everything. The turn from backside to front side needs to happen at the top of the wave. So we talked about this on the live stream last week, and I said I was going to post a video of going backside into front side, which is something I talk about a lot, especially on the master classes, and I didn't post it. I've just been too busy. So I will find backside into front side because I think it's a really good technique to use in conditions like this. Mussolini chimes in, and I don't know if you guys know this, but if you look at PWA World Tour Zilt heat scores, I think Mussolini has one of the highest averages if you don't count jumps. He's won the event twice, I think. He's been on the podium multiple times. Mussolini is a Silt star. And so I always listen to what he has to say. I listen to what he has to say in general. Mussolini is one of my oldest windsurfing friends, but specifically for Silt. And so he's saying, don't go so low on the wave. You have to stay on the face of the wave, and then you get the power from the wave instead of from the wind. And that's exactly what we said on the live stream. It's what Mungo says. So it's just lots of different ways of saying the same thing, which is stay higher on the wave to get that speed from the wave. All right, we have a couple freeride questions that are popping up. Aside from wave riding, you can go significantly faster with a free race sail and a free race fin on a free ride board. Is it worth it? That's a good question. What do you guys think? Hey, Facebook. What do you guys think? Is it worth it? I think that it's, in the discussions I have, I think free ride sails and free race sails are misunderstood. Having the cams doesn't help you as much in light wind, which is, I think, what a lot of people say. It helps you more in high wind and allows you to rig a bigger sail, so you can hold down a bigger sail because the cams keep the profile really stable, which does allow you to go faster. But then you have to have the muscle to hold it, and that has to be what you want. A lot of times having a no cam sail, especially if it's sort of a free racing no cam sail like the Ezzy Cheetah, or I'm sure there's some other ones on the market that I don't know the names of, they get you going quick and you can still handle it well. Whereas the more cams you're adding, if you're going up to 2, 3, 4 cams, again, the more stable that the profile of the sail is going to be, which handles chop and gust better. You can also rig a bigger sail. It's going to be heavier. You can handle more power, which helps with your top end speed if that's your goal. But it's going to be more difficult to flip. It's going to be more difficult to get out of the water if you fall in the water. I like the feeling of cams when I'm jibing because I put that power from the cam into the rail of the board. There's a bit of personal preference. You guys already saw this video I did about winging. That is on YouTube. If you missed it, you can find the link here. And it's less about winging and more about learning. I'm not a winger, but I'm interested in learning, and I'm interested in teaching and what it takes to teach well and learn quickly. And that's my approach in this video. So if you're interested in learning or you're interested in winging, check this out if you haven't already. All right, we have another post from Ephemios asking if this is a front loop. Boom. Yes, sir, it is. It is most definitely a front loop. Congratulations. Hey, Tomasz, welcome to the live stream. Merry Christmas. I hope you're good. Yeah, this is a 4 loop, and this is awesome. Right on. This is the direction to go. just keep it up, get a little bit more height, work on that, getting that head. Really want that head to be looking even more behind you. It's good though. You're getting that motion. This is the direction to go. I think it's a lot about getting in repetitions of this stage. So you do this 50 times, and then let's see where your video is at, and then I can give you some more advice. But for doing the first full rotations, it's just about keeping it up. Don't focus on too much else. You're rotating pretty horizontally. You're getting the head back. You've got a bit of a wider grip. Right on. You get a little bit more height, but the point is just to keep doing this. Just get in the repetitions while you've learned this to make it comfortable. And then once you're comfortable, you can start then progressing, because the forward loop is so mental. And if you focus too much on the technique, when you reach this breakthrough, then you can possibly lose it, which we don't want you to get. So we want you to get the repetitions in so that then the fear is just gone. I mean, it seems like the fear is gone, but sometimes you've got to do multiple repetitions. I think for push loops, for forward loops, that is true, because fear is such a big factor. So after you do 1 or 2 and you start getting the rotation, even if you're not landing them, don't worry about the final technique to get the landing perfect. Do the repetitions of the rotation so that you get comfortable with the rotation, so then you don't fall backwards with the fear. So this is great. All right, we already talked about this wave. Luca posted about Andrea De Cesare. I'm not sure if this is a coaching post, Luca, if you're watching. We want to stick to coaching, or things that are at least kind of coaching adjacent. Now, Andrea De Cesare is a legend of the sport, and he was a cool guy. I was friends with him when he was alive. Unfortunately, he passed away in a motorbike accident in Rome. He was also a F1 driver. Yeah, Andrea was a legend. There he is in his F1 car. Yeah, he used to come to Maui a lot. Good guy. Is that everything? I guess it's been a Christmas week, so there's not a lot to go over in the group. But I'll hang out for a little bit and have a bit of a Christmas chat with you guys. Why not? I think we all deserve it after a busy, difficult year. Or was your year difficult and busy? Mine seemed very busy, and at times, but definitely a lot of change, a lot of coaching. Hey Max, Merry Christmas. Just finished up a 12-hour shift, and then gonna do some family time and catch up on the stream later. Well, enjoy the time with your family. I'm gonna hang out for a little bit. If you guys have any questions or just want to talk about anything windsurfing related, Christmas related, year-end related, this year related. Oh, speaking of this year, I've got to give a huge thank you to the supporters on Patreon, because that support definitely helps. I'll just read through the list of names. Thank you everyone who supports. It's Kåre, Christoffer, Axel, Greg, Sam, John, Brouwers, Tomasz, Laura, Matt, Fritz, Nick, Samuli, Steen, Christophe, David, Dom, Dennis, Mario, Cedric, Ragnar, Matt, Jörg, Tomasz, Jürg, Evgeny, and Eric. Thank you guys for supporting the Patreon. All of that stuff is going to change over the next week, 2 weeks. We're moving to a different platform. It's going to be really cool. I'll share more updates to you directly and also in the Facebook group if that's something that you're interested in joining. Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty cool. Tomasz, I hope you can get some footage. We're a little bit light in footage in the group because it's holiday times. People are busy with the families. It's cold. They're not getting in the water. I need to do some video of backside into frontside. I said I would do that last week. Backside into frontside, because that is a great wave riding technique. All right, I'm gonna hang out just a teeny bit more. Let's see if we've got some questions. Tomasz is saying he's on his wife's account, but I know this is you, Tomasz. Is April, or is it Judy? is Judy asking. Is April much more crowded on Hokipa compared to March? March and April, I'd say, are pretty similar in terms of crowds, and they are definitely crowded months. The end of April is less crowded than the beginning. I would say the middle of March to the middle of April is the most crowded time on Maui. Maybe the time right before the Aloha Classic is just as crowded, but you can have a good time on Maui even if it's crowded. I think that Hokipa is definitely sort of a crown jewel of Maui, obviously, and you want to get in some sessions there. But if you're going for the first time, I wouldn't expect to windsurf at Hokipa every day. Hokipa can be pretty gnarly and intense. If you go to Maui, it should definitely be, and you have the level, it should definitely be on your list to sail it at least once, and hopefully more than once. And maybe you could do a coast run or some other cool things. But the spots down the coast, Sprex, Kanaha, are also amazing windsurfing and are a little bit more accessible. Hokipa is a difficult spot. I would say that towards the end of April, it's friendlier in terms of just the way the conditions are. The waves are a little bit smaller. Beginning of May, end of April. But April is good. It's a solid time to come to Maui. Like anywhere, you never know what you're going to get. But if you're going off of statistics, March and April are great months. April is probably the most consistent month, which is why all the photo shoots happen then, right? There's a reason that photo shoots are happening mid-March to mid-April. It's because it's the most consistent time. As you get later in March, the wind is consistent, but the waves are less so. But it's still good. I mean, if you compare it to any of these spots in Europe, and I sail a lot in Europe. Nothing against Europe. I don't mean to be. I'm not trying to, make Europe sound bad, but a bad day at Hokipa is an epic day in Europe, pretty much. It's good. Maui is good. There's a reason that it's the windsurfing mecca. That said, there are far fewer photo shoots happening on Maui than there used to, so it's a lot less crowded. The costs of going to Maui have exploded over the last few years, and so a lot of these brands that would ship tons of gear to Maui and fly 20 riders out and put them up in different houses are looking for more economical alternatives. So there are other photo shoots happening in Sardinia or Portugal or Cabo Verde or somewhere else. So yeah, Mert, I'm going to miss the boot. I will not make the boot this year. I'll be on Maui. That is the plan. And the plan is to be on Maui more or less until May. And I might do some coaching on Maui. I've got to figure all of that stuff out. I've been so busy. I really haven't had the time to figure out my coaching weeks for next year, but that's something that I'm going to do now over the next week or two. I might go to Cabo Verde if the event happens. If the event happens, I guess I will go, but it's not clear yet whether the World Cup will happen there again this year. All right, hit me. I'm going to hang out for another minute and a half, and I will answer any questions that are asked in that time. So Tomasz is saying his Christmas wish is, we used to look at your clips in comparison to what we upload in the past. Can we do that from time to time again? Yeah, so I switched to a different streaming program, which is a lot better in many, many, many ways, but it makes it more difficult to do those video comparisons. So I have to see how to do that with this software, because it's not as easy as it was with OBS to do that, but there's a lot that's better. So I'm happy with the software in general, but that kind of comparison is more difficult. And let's see. I'll see what I can do. All right. Axel says, could you describe the other spots on Maui a bit? All that you read about is Hokipa. There are tons of spots on Maui, from waves, big waves, down the line waves, just off the top of my head. And it's not even going to be conclusive. Let's start with Hokipa. So Hokipa is big waves, radical spot. You've got a little sandy beach and the reef and the rocks. It's where all the pros sail. It's pretty intense. It's not somewhere that I would recommend people to go for their first time on Maui. I think if you have the level, getting in one session there is, it's a bucket list thing. So definitely do it. Do it in a way that is smart and controlled and safe. But it's, I think, not a spot that is very accessible where you can just show up. Unless you have, if you have a certain level, then it is, and it can be, and you can figure out Hokipa. Anyway, down from Hokipa, you have lanes, which is way less crowded. If you have 100 people out at Hokipa, you may have one person out at lanes. You never have 100 people at Hokipa, but lanes is empty. Sometimes there's kiters. Hey, Steen. Down from lanes, you have Kuau. Kuau is a nice open wave, and it's also less crowded. The launch is a little bit sketchy, but everything else is easier than Hokipa. The launch is also not that sketchy. It just looks sketchy, but actually it's not very sketchy. The spot directly down from Kuau is Sprex, and Sprex is kind of bump and jump style. The wind is slightly more onshore. It's good for jumping, also good for riding. You can do some backside rides and frontside rides. It's just fun conditions. It's not as radical. There are some spots that can be very shallow with the reef, and so you have to pay attention. But after 1 or 2 days sailing, you learn where the shallow spots are, so you can avoid them. Fun. And then down from Sprex is Camp 1. That is similar conditions to Sprex, a little bit more onshore, more jumping focused. And as we're going down the coast, the reef is farther and farther out to sea, which means that you have a big flat area on the inside if you want to do free ride or freestyle. Down from Camp 1, we have Uppers Kanaha. Uppers Kanaha is a spot that many people like. I have had very few good sessions there, but people love it. Down from Uppers Kanaha is Lowers Kanaha, which is a really long running wave. I mean, the wave is like a mile long. It doesn't peel the whole way. You have like sections that go, so you can't do like 20 turns, but you can do 5 or 6 bottom turns. It does get crowded, but it's not hard to get waves. I mean, the level there is a lot lower. The problem with Hokipa is it's a small spot, it's crowded, and the people windsurfing there are the best windsurfers in the world. And so it's just really difficult to get waves. Kanaha, even if it's crowded, the level is not as high. And so it's just easier. It's just easier to get waves. And that's a great spot. I spent a lot of time at Kanaha learning. Lowers Kanaha is great for learning how to wave sail. The wave doesn't have as much power as Hokipa. It's just a lot of fun. If you go to the other side of the island in Kihei, if you have a south swell, that can be good for wave riding. But otherwise, it's flat water, and that can be good for freestyle. It can be good for slalom training. There are spots where they used to do speed sailing, even where the wind is coming straight offshore. And so it's really glassy. You can go next to the beach as you get strong wind, but really glassy water because it's straight offshore. So there's a lot on Maui. You can kind of get anything. It's never going to be too difficult for anyone to sail. Hey, Matt, Merry Christmas. Nice to see you here. I hope that you can get some sessions in too. I want to see some footage. I want to hear how it's going. And yeah, you guys are awesome. All right, I'm going to wait for one more question if there is one, and then I'm going to sign off and say Merry Christmas and see if my wife needs help bringing the kids to bed. They've been going to bed kind of late these days. Normally, they're already asleep. By the time I do the live stream, they're asleep. But with Christmas and all these things with the family and Katrine's family, they've been staying up later and later and later. So I'm not sure where they're at now. And my plans for this week. So I'm still not windsurfing this week. I'm doing some family stuff and then I'm working on launching this new platform. Basically, all the Patreon stuff is going to move to a new platform, and there's going to be that's also where the online virtual masterclass courses are going to live. So the TAC course is going to be uploaded there. hey, Sammy, Merry Christmas. The Vulcan course, which we're going to do soon, I guess in January, will be hosted there. And yeah, it's cool. So I'm working on that. We're going to go down to Munich just briefly. I'm going to see an old friend that I haven't seen in a long time, and this is kind of the only time we can see him. And then we're going to go west to Saarland and then over the border into France to visit Florian Young. So some of you guys might know Florian Young. He's a pro windsurfer and good friend of mine. And actually, he's the one who introduced me to my wife. So he's had a big impact on my life. I used to travel around with him. When I was 16, I was staying in Pozo by myself over the summer and looking for someone to share an apartment with. And I was talking with Ibaya Moreno, and she's like, yeah, there's this guy, Flo, and he's also looking for someone. And we had so much fun. He's a few years older than I am. I think he's 5 years older. So he was 21, I was 16. And we just had so much fun just doing stupid shit, windsurfing till our arms fell off every day and being silly. It was just a ton of fun. And anyway, so I traveled with Flo a lot over the years. He was my travel partner. We always stayed with each other at the World Cups or training, going to Cape Town, wherever else. And yep, so we're going to go visit him and his family and then head back up to Hamburg for New Year's. And then it's like just a kind of whirlwind of getting stuff ready to then depart to Maui for 6 months. Stijn, all of the Vulcan course info will be posted in the Facebook group. I will also announce it on the YouTube live streams. I will also email it to the email list, and I will post it to all the Patreon supporters. Basically, it's everywhere. If you're on any of my things, you'll see it. It's not so much on the public facing channels. So I don't post the courses on my public Facebook or my public Instagram. I might do an Instagram post, but it's in the Facebook group. It's I email it to the email list. If you're not on the email list, you can go to windsurfingmasterclass.com and get on the email list. It's just really easy. You just put your email in and I will send you an email when there's updates. Hey, Tavi, we just talked about your great coaching tip. I don't know if you were here for that. Thank you for posting it. I hope you have a good time. If you go to Cape Town, have fun, catch some waves for me at Misty Cliffs. I miss that spot. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. Everyone have a wonderful holiday and a safe, happy new year. I will see you on the 2nd. Yeah, the 2nd of January, right? That's the next Sunday, I think. Let me check a calendar. No, the 1st of January. Sorry. So I'll see you on the 1st. I'll see you on New Year's Day. Awesome. All right, everyone. Take care. Have a good, restful holiday. And we'll see you next week. I'll see you in the Facebook group. If you do get in the water, if you think of some other questions that you forgot to ask, post it in the Facebook group. And I will try to answer it there. And I'll see you next week, Sunday.